All right, hello everybody. Grady, Polcyn here, Family First Life America. Honored to be sitting with Miss Casey Traut today.
Thanks for having me.
Happy to have you on here today. So a little insight into Casey. You're what? You're professional. I don't want to say professional athlete, but you're an athlete, correct?
Yes.
You were an athlete in college?
Yep.
Okay, so she took her discipline as an athlete in college and has transitioned that into a highly disciplined new business owner. Her team issue paid $133,000 last month, which means you run a $1.5 million insurance agency. Isn't that's pretty good.
Really exciting. You're like, oh my gosh.
It's fun to say, right? It's fun to hear.
Yeah.
And she averages between $20,000 to $40,000 a month on a personal pen. Best month ever was $48,000. And so I love to have Casey on with us today, hear her background, hear her story, and hear what she's excited about. And maybe we can even get into some disciplines for travel trips. I know you do a lot of traveling, and it's fun to have that as an option within the business, but it's also kind of maybe daunting for some of our newer producers or some of our seasoned producers that have never done it. I'd love to hear your insight about it. So, but love to everyone to get to know a little bit more about you.
Cool. So yeah, like you said, I did cheerleading. So I was a collegiate cheerleader. Okay. I had done that and I had competed since middle school. So I had been doing it for a long time, probably over 10 years. And I took that with me from high school, obviously, to college, and then ended up becoming a captain on my collegiate cheer team. So I went to Grand Canyon University. So
nice, Lopes.
Yeah, heck yeah. So I went there, and we became D1 halfway through when I was at GCU. And so being one of the captains of a D1 cheer team is it can be daunting, but it was super awesome. I did have to juggle. I was working part-time, and I was a full-time student. So
what were you doing? Where were you working?
I was actually at a coffee shop. I was at the coffee shop on campus. So I was doing that, but it was more convenient because the coffee shop was literally downstairs in my building. So I just went downstairs to work. But, I mean, it was a little bit of money, part-time while I was doing that. So, and then once I got out of college, I had worked for a cheerleading organization since I was out of high school. And I had been given an opportunity to travel and be on one of like the prestigious teams there. So I was on core staff where I taught all of the staff members how to be staff. And then I also traveled doing college staff. So I was on that for about a full month straight, teaching elite collegiate athletes how to be good collegiate cheerleaders, that sort of thing. So I had an awesome opportunity, and I was like, I might as well just do that. When am I going to get to be a cheerleader again? So I did that, and then I went into marketing and business development when I was done with that. It was at a small traffic engineering firm. It was a startup, and it was one of the girls that I cheered with, her boyfriend's mom. And so I know so many people, but that's kind of how it came about. And I did that for about 6 months, and I remember saying to myself, like, I didn't love it, but I was like, I'm going to stick to this for a year. Okay. And I remember saying that to myself because I was like, you don't like really anything that you're not good at until you get good at it. So I remember doing that, and I was like, okay, maybe I don't love it, but I'm going to get good at it here. And, I definitely believe it was the Lord throughout this whole entire process, because I was about to talk to her about I got some confusion on some of the things I'm doing, and so we were going to sit down and have a meeting, and it was just different. She's a happy-go-lucky person, and basically she sat down with me, and I could tell the meeting was different. And I was like, okay, like what's going on? So I'm about to sit down and talk with her, and she just looks at me and puts her hand on my paper with all my notes, and she was like, do you like working here? And I was like, does it show that I don't like working here? So I was like, oh, I hope not. And she was like, no, and basically we had a good conversation of her being like, I think you're meant for a lot more. There's a lot more opportunity out there that I can't provide you here ever. And I would be really sad if you were with me 2 years from now. And I was like, dang, okay. So in my head, I was like, am I getting fired? So I was kind of like thinking that, but.
You're getting promoted, but demoted, but I don't work here anymore?
Yeah.
I gotta find a new job? What's going on?
Yeah, I was like, what do you want from me? So all that being said, that happened at the beginning of 2020. So then COVID hit when I was looking for a different job. And now I'm competing against other people that have 20 years of experience applying for the same jobs as me. So I was like really struggling, if I'm being honest, on being like, okay, where do I go from here? What do I want to do? And I had someone reach out to me at the tail end of summer, and it was Nina off of LinkedIn.
Fascinating.
And she just asked me like, hey, Casey, have you ever been interested in getting your insurance license? And the funny thing about that was like, you get a ton of LinkedIn messages, and I paid attention to hers. I don't know why I did, but I did. Again, it was like a total God thing, but I paid attention. I was like, Well, no, I've never thought about that. I don't think I answered that way, but that's what I was thinking. And so then I sent it to my dad, like the video that she had sent me.
Cool. Which video?
The company overview video.
The Rogue IMO one?
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
So she had sent that to me, and then I had talked to my dad. He's a big business guy, so I trust, his judgment. So he had said, like, this looks like an awesome opportunity, and you should go for it. And I was like, okay. And, like, I had never done commission-based anything, and I was like, all right, well, and my thought going into it was I was like, well, what do I have to lose? Good. Like, I was like, I can work really hard, and if I'm not good at it by 6 months, first of all, I gave myself a non-negotiable. 90 days in, you don't have an option to reevaluate if you like it or not, because you're not good at it yet. So I remember being like, okay, 90 days is the minimum that you're giving yourself. So then, especially at the 90-day mark, I had gotten a lot better at selling and that sort of thing, and then I was like, at the end of 6 months, if you don't like it, then don't. But I'm past 6 months now and definitely staying here, so that's kind of how that all happened.
Yeah, well, I'm glad.
Yeah, I know, right?
What did I'm actually curious, what did your dad say? Like, what did he, like, I mean, other than, like, you should go for it, yes. But, like, I mean, what was his analysis? I mean.
He was like, this looks like a strong business model.
Okay.
And he was like, I mean, I like everything that they're presenting. And he's really one to support me in anything, that I do. And I know not everybody has that support, but of course there's doubters, naysayers,
everywhere,
every which direction. But he was definitely like, from what he saw, again, good business model. And he was like, you have a really big opportunity here. And so, I mean, he knows my work ethic. He's seen me since I was young in sports, especially juggling, even being a cheerleader in high school. You had to attend appearances. You're not like a regular athlete. You have to be everywhere that other athletes are all the time. So I had almost double, and I was always doing an extracurricular in schoolwork, so he knew my work ethic. And again, he was just like, I think you would have an awesome opportunity here.
You're mature beyond your years. I think it's from all of the time working, right? Or either working or working on yourself, working on your craft as a cheerleader, working in schoolwork.
Right.
And then evolving into the career you had for a little bit. And then now here, it's like you look at people and you can tell who's a seasoned vet, like based on how they hold themselves, how they communicate, how they interact. Like, this person has done this thing a bunch, right? It's people that know stuff. And it's like, you understand work ethic. Like, so whatever it is here at FFL, it's dial the phone and go see families. You're like, okay, so just dial the phone 300 times and go see 30 families a week. Okay, that's all I have to do.
Right,
and they're going to pay me all this money?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I can figure that out. Okay, so that's it. I don't have to do handstands or jumping jacks or 300
and I've done that, so.
300 push-ups a day. Like, I love it. So talk to me about the first couple months. Like, just so you can, did you come in, it was all happy high notes and what did someone say, butterflies and puppy dogs? Like, or did you run into some walls a little bit? Talk about, like, that beginning part of your career with us.
Yeah, so I was not someone who came out of the gate swinging. There are those people, and whether they have experience or not, they happen, but that wasn't like that for me. So I knew that I would have to get used to it, and I knew, if I'm being completely honest, every part of that was uncomfortable for me. I had to get out of my comfort zone, and I knew it. Like, dialing the phone 3 times for someone who didn't pick up, I was like, oh, like, I was like cringing inside myself, but I was told that's how you do it. So I was like, okay. So I was like, I'll just do it no matter how uncomfortable I am. So my first month was in December, and I think that's been my lowest issue paid month. But I do remember, like, my first dial day, and there were people there surrounding me so excited for me. Like, my mentors were like, I was telling Nina, I was texting her the whole day. I was like, I'm at appointment 10, and she was like, at 10? Like, so just people were all there, and once I made my first appointment, like, that's the benefit of being in an office. I had people literally, as I'm booking my first appointment, around my chair being like, you got it, you got it. And as soon as I got off the phone, it was like, there's nothing like booking your very first appointment.
Yeah.
So anyway, my very first day, I went out and I sat and I sold. And it was like my first appointment, sweet Christopher Bradley. And he was falling asleep during the appointment, and it was like 3 hours. I'm figuring out all these e-apps, but it's just how it went.
That's right.
But so yeah, my first start here was, again, I made it a point to be in the office. Good. Because of what you had said, like, being around people. I'm used to being on a team. So I was like, I don't want to do this from home. I don't see how I could really do it from home by myself. So I was here, and I had met some people, and I had some other people pouring into me that were top producers here, and I really appreciated them for it. And so, December, January is kind of building that selling muscle of like, okay, how do I present in the home? What's my winning line? How do I kind of do this? So I specifically remember in the middle of February, I was like, I got this. Like, I remember the week that I was doing this, I was like, you're closing a lot more, and you now have figured, like, there was a switch in my brain, and I was like, all right, I got it. And then, like, a month or two later was one of my biggest months, which is over 40.
So how good does it feel to know that you can go in a house and you're like, it's because a lot of it's you've almost seen it all, right?
Yes.
You've seen more,
yes.
But also to have the confidence to know no matter what I see, I have a resolution for it.
Yes, yeah. So the confidence is totally different. You know, when someone walks into a room, you feel a presence. Like if they have a presence, it's a strong presence. Whether they're super confident or something else, whether they're like scary, like you know that. Mm-hmm. So I feel like I walk into a home with a confidence of like I am going to help you one way or the other. Like, we're going to make this happen. So, walking in is like, I am the professional. And again, you've done more appointments. I remember Nina saying, like, your first 100 appointments, just get there. Just do it. And I was like, I had thought of that. I was like, okay, yeah, first 100 appointments, But, like, then...
That's a lot of appointments.
Yeah. But then once I had gotten there, now when I sit in home...
You make money along the first 100 appointments. Let's be clear.
You do. Yes, you do.
You're getting paid.
You do.
But you get to 100, you're like...
Yeah. I mean, again, you've seen a lot more than when you did your first one. So, like, now it's kind of funny because you look back at the people you didn't close, you're like, I would have closed them. You know what I mean? But, like, walking into a home now when you have done your due diligence of putting in the practice of, like, getting in front of people, getting in front of maybe people that make you feel uncomfortable if you're new, like a nice mortgage appointment with a nice house, and you're like, you're like so nervous, but... You do it anyway, and so I think kind of, all-encompassing to what you're saying, it feels incredible to walk in being like, I know how to help you, or knowing if they're really not serious of being in and out within 5 minutes. You know what I mean? You now know, instead of a brand new agent where you're like, I only have 4 appointments on the books, I have to make this work. Now you're like, I have no time for that. Like, if you're not serious about your family, I'm not going to sit here and try and convince you.
Go into that for a second. How do you decipher that? Like, what do you say to qualify them to get to that decision so quickly?
Yeah. So when I go in and I sit in the home, I'm instantly asking about the why. Like, so, Grady, you had taken the time to fill this out. Like, would you mind walking me through what had pushed you to do so? Has someone recently passed, or what does that look like for you?
We just bought the house, and I just, it said mortgage protection and, pay off the house if something was to happen to me. And I just want to make sure that if something happened to me, my wife could keep the house. I don't really know how it all works.
Okay, so you're just trying to make sure, so I understand correctly, that you and your wife, if God forbid you become disabled, because you're working right now, right?
Yeah.
Yep, so you're working right now, you become disabled. It's a long time to apply for disability. So you're not really going to get any income in, I don't know yet, but you might be making at least half of the income here, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so she would lose all that income. So exactly like you're saying, either you become disabled or you pass away. Think about your wife doesn't have any of your income now. I want you to think about that. So what I'm here to do today is help you figure out what is going to be the best plan for you strategically, so that way your wife doesn't have to worry about that. You literally drop dead tomorrow, you're okay. She's okay. So kind of, you said you had filled it out. You were kind of concerned about that. Why were you concerned?
Just because we don't have any insurance or anything right now, and we don't have a lot of savings. We took it all to put the money down for the house, and
okay.
We both work full time, and I was just trying to learn more.
Okay, so you're trying to learn more. So like I said, that's what I'm here to do today, is find out if you're even eligible for something like that. But you're also telling me that it's of great concern that if you pass away, your wife cannot afford to stay here, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So like I said, I am here to help you with that today, and that's why most people fill this out. And then I go right into showing them my license, that sort of thing.
And you go into it. So that's like, hi, where's the table? Mm-hmm. Or it goes to the table. Okay, then you do pull the form out and slide it in. Do you have the credibility sheet next to it? Is it what gets you right to that point? What do you show just for the...
So...
Is it the lead card?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So some people, honestly, for me, I just do it electronically.
Okay.
So I take a screenshot and I'll flip over my iPad, and that's worked just as well. I know some people print it out, slide it across. Either one, it's still legit. You're going over all the information.
See my handwriting on it.
Yep. So I'll push that in front of them and be like, okay, this was the card. If they hand filled it out, that's one way. Or if they had just sent it in, be like, this is what came to my desk. And so then I'm like, so this is what you had filled out, and that's what got on my desk. So, and then I go into, you know, obviously, again, we're at the table because business is not done on the couch. That's where friends are made. So, you know, and then I'm asking more questions. So even you had, even in our demonstration, more of sometimes an immediate why. But if you don't find it, and this is for like new agents, if you don't find it immediately, going to what you were saying about how you know if they're serious or not, I am digging and digging and digging to find it, and I will not move forward until I have found something. Because if they're sitting there telling me, I have done straight up where I sat with someone and I was like, okay, so, you know, why had you filled this out? And they were like, I didn't fill anything out. Sometimes some people will say that and you're like, okay, and then you dig a little bit more. And if they're like, I don't really care about my kids getting money, I don't really care about that, I'll kind of push like maybe 1 or 2 more times, and then I'm like, okay, like they're clearly not, they don't care about this situation in particular, so I'm out. Yeah,
you get those people. They're few and far between, right? They're few and far between, but you get some people like they're, and let's just get almost like, it's oftentimes people that are struggling financially.
Yes.
And they will go, well, last thing I want to do is leave her rich, or I don't want to leave my kids a bunch of money. I didn't have any money. And it's kind of this, you know, from a psychological thing, it's a very limiting belief. It's a negative mindset. It's a lack mindset from just not having money, that you couldn't imagine giving someone $100,000 or $200,000 if something was to happen to you. So it's being cautious within those, and I mean, almost in those situations, it's cultivating a deeper dream. Like, do you want this? Do you want your child to have to enter into the world that you're in, or do you want to possibly put them in a position to have a greater situation? And sometimes that'll win them over, but sometimes it'll just no, I don't even know. It was an accident. I shouldn't have filled it out.
Right, and like you said, it is few and far between. But that's how you know, like even as like a new agent, if you can't find an emotional why, because they'll pull it out right there. Like the why is going to be pretty strong up front. You just really have to dig into it, make them emotional, make them see how like their son is going to have to pay $10,000 to $20,000 upon their death. And then you kind of talk about like, have you ever had to do that for someone else? Did mom and dad have this kind of protection, like that sort of thing? And I've talked to a lot of people that they were like, no, they didn't. And I said, so how did that make you feel that you had to gather all this money, whether it was with siblings or yourself, to make that happen? And, you know, they were like, it was really tough. And so I kind of break that down a little bit. Again, it's emotional. So I'm like, so you don't, and I make them say yes, or I make them say correct. It's like the trial close. So I'm like, so just to make sure, you know, I understand, you just don't want to put that burden on your son like you felt, because that's going to be really financially hard. They've got kids, they've got other bills going on. This is not a bill they need to worry about. Am I right?
Yeah.
So then I make them say yes, because that's really what they're looking for. People don't go online and fill out random forms for stuff they're not looking for. So
this is correct.
Yeah.
Do you like coaching?
I do.
Because you're good at it. Like you like, I mean, this is my next question about building a team, but like you explain stuff very, very well, and the reason behind why we do this. Right. And is that something you like? Do you see yourself leading a big team? I mean,
yes.
I mean, not to say that a $1.5 million a year team's not big, but but like, what are your goals from an agency building standpoint?
I mean, you know, I'm just super excited because I'm now really truly getting to the point. I've sold at a high level. I'll continue to do so, and I think it's huge to lead from the front. But also like building a team, I'm going for that 1 million a month, and I'm going after it. So I want that, because not just because it's going to create like volume and stuff for our team. Like, yeah, that's great. But what that means is people are getting paid at an opportunity they never, ever, ever would have imagined or thought existed. And some people are really going to take that and run with it. You know, like they've been looking for that, and so this is an opportunity and a platform for them to go after. And then others, maybe it's just a part-time thing. But I'm trying to meet people where they're at, of being like, I'm going to make you successful. I've said it on calls with people where I'm like, I want it more than you probably do for you. Because my job, I'll tell them, you know, I will bend over backwards for you. If you're going to give me 100%, I will absolutely give you 100%. Like, I'm going to be there to coach you through everything, and you're not going to be left in the dark. So I do enjoy coaching people. That's kind of what I did at my cheerleading job. Like I was definitely, I was a coach in multiple different forms and fashions. And there's nothing like, it's nice when you succeed. Okay, yeah, awesome. But when you help other people succeed, especially something, you know, for cheer, it was like getting over a skill and like everyone on their team freaking out for them because you had taught them you said one thing that made it different for that person. And now it was like a game changer. And then you felt like you're like, oh my gosh, like they finally got it and everybody's so excited and you get to be there to celebrate with them. So it's the same thing as like coaching agents. Someone thinking, I never would have thought I would ever make like 20,000 in a month, because that's how I started. I was like 50,000 in a month. I was like, are you kidding me? You know, like I was like, that's less than I make in a year at my last job. So, but you know, getting to help people see that that's real and experiencing that for the first time is like uncomparable, whatever it is.
It's the best. I agree. I think you're doing a tremendous job, and it's interesting. Your past of cheerleading, and who would have thought that would lead you to? There's gonna be some cool book title from building
cheerleading instructor to insurance agency owner.
Yes, the bend over story. I don't know. There'll be some sort of clever integrated gymnastics term that I don't know about. So, if someone wants to get in touch with you, what's your phone number?
It is 918-606-5875.
Perfect. And one more time for the people that write slow.
918-606-5875.
Perfect. Casey's a rock star. She sells at a high level, and she's looking for other people that are wanting to work with her. And if you're already with FFL, you're on a great team. But just, you know, if you're out there checking out the YouTubes, connect with Casey. She'll teach you all about what we're doing here at Family First Life. But thank you for coming on. Appreciate you. Excited to watch you continue to progress and to turn it's all these disciplines that we've developed. And if you've got disciplines you've developed, try to transition them into our business world. It's a great world here, and we can help you magnify those gifts that you've got and those skills you developed to create something really special. So thank you, Casey. Have a great day.
Thank you.